Alright guys, I think I about nickel and dimed myself to death this week. The Monday before this video was shot, I did an emergency placement for a German Shepherd and ended up taking him to Kingsport, Tennessee. And there's three cities right there called the Tri-Cities that, you know, overlap, in two in Tennessee and then one's in actual Bristol in Tennessee. So I called an uncle up I haven't seen in years and years. I thought he lived in Kingsport, but he was a city over. So I went and saw him and ended up, he ended up giving me some early Christmas gifts he kind of had in the back room and stuff. First thing was a Signature Series Fender here. It's a starter. So I have that. It's hooked up, and I forgot to unplug it, but he also gave me an amp over here, a PV amp. So that's very cool. You know, I finally got a cord for it and stuff and been playing off and on. And then he gave me some movies, and these movies are spot on. Now, anybody that's watched my videos for a while, they've heard me talk about my uncle and my stepdad and all the comics they had around and all the Conan stuff in the books and the arguments of who's and all that stuff. And apparently some of that has not died down, because I mentioned pieces of an old Kiss magazine I have from the late 70s where they actually put their blood in ink, supposedly. Ink or the red coloring or something. But anyway, the influence was definitely there on like all this stuff I've ended up liking, because I was just a kid then, because he gave me a few movies and they were spot on. You know, like, you know, I was like, oh my god, he's nailed it. He's nailed it. Make sure they're all here. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So anyway, he ended up giving me the Two Towers, which is just amazing, because all I need for the Two Towers is the extended edition, the big one, and you know, so I have this to watch until I run across it. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yep. And I would do the big chant of the klepto clock or whatever, but I'm going blank here. And then I had this, and I sold it years ago, and I wish I never did. And one of my buddies found one for $1 years ago, and he ends up giving me this, the Creature from the Black Lagoon Classic Collection. I just about fell down. That is the monster. That is my favorite Universal monster. Then he gave me some Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Jack Nicholson, the East Side Kids, a Tins collector set, quite a few movies. I put pictures of these on Facebook. I think MA000001 Mark was right on top of them. One of my favorite black and white movies ever. You know, I mean, it goes like Time Machine from 1960, them, Stooges, Three Stooges in Outer Space. I mean, this is like right up there with them. This is a fantastic movie. I could not believe I have it on there. And then he gave me the 2 seasons of Chappelle Show. I remember when I sold these, I'd be like, oh, I can get them. They're so common and all this stuff, and get them back, and I never got them back. So that was kind of cool. Okay, so throughout the week I kind of stayed home, did a little job hunting, and tried not to go out too much, and there's an antique shop not even a mile from me. So I went down there and found a few things, and I got this for $1. The PlayStation, and it's a classic greatest hits. It's not the, you know, original or anything like that, but Final Fantasy VII. I have a PlayStation 2 that I might check it out. It's 4 or 5 discs that looks superb. Then I got this on VHS for $1, Willow, and I've watched it in this nice little family movie. You know, that's what I think was missing when I watched. You know, I watched that many a times, and it never quite clicked with me. And then I realized it's a family movie. You know, I got to get older. Yes, and then I got these for, I don't know, maybe $1 a piece in a pawn shop in Withville, Virginia. Yes, I got Ghost. Patrick Swayze, for being in The Outsiders and Red Dawn. You know, he gets a pass. He seems to, anything he does, I'm on board with, man. He's just cool, you know. Yeah, I'm not ashamed, you know. Silence of the Lambs, I have it on VHS, but I figure for $1 it's time to get it, you know. And then I got the movie. If you do not have this movie or had not watched this movie, you can go ahead and stop the video now, and you need to go find some way to watch it, okay? This is Clint Eastwood, Gran Torino. Now, the rumor with Gran Torino is, and I think, and I personally, I don't know. It sounds like wishful thinking to me, but I'm not going to discredit it. I have no proof either way or anything like that. But this was originally supposed to be Dirty Harry retired, and things behind the scenes did not happen to where you could see Dirty Harry retired. So it turned into Gran Torino and into something completely different almost, because there are some scenes in here where you're like, well, if he was Dirty Harry, that would make sense, you know. But yeah, this movie, oh my God, yeah, it's one of those where you know, I got to prepare myself before I watch it. All right, and then at that same antique shop, not the pawn shop, I found this thick thing, right? A Top Cow. This is Collections of the Darkness, and it has Garth Ennis, Mark Silvestre, Paul Jenkins, and Dale Keown. Now, it's an image book. I'm not really into these image books like Witchblade and Darkness, but for $1 for all of this, I mean, it's actually, I mean, it's looking worse than what it is with the bend and stuff. Put it on a bookshelf would be fine. But I'm looking at this, man. This guy barely got any wear on it. And it's a Garth Ennis, you know, it's got Garth Ennis in it and Dale Keown, so, you know, what are you going to do? $1 for that. Okay, moving on so we don't get it. So today I had to get out of the house. I did not sleep at all Thursday. Thursday night, I had stuff to do on Friday. I don't know what happened. I was wide awake, and then I finally fell asleep at 7:30. I slept for a few hours here and there, got up. I was out of my freaking mind. Wasted a whole day, I felt like it. And then I was like, get up, get out of the house, get moving. Whatever that was, it's over with. So I went up the road and ended up, you know, just going to get a cord for the guitar. Ended up at the flea market and ended up getting all this stuff that I'm about to show you for like maybe 20 bucks. I don't know. Anyway, so got some trades here, okay? Okay, Ghost, Painful Music, you know, Dark Horse, Ghost, what year is this? 97 and 99. Ivan Rice pencils. Ivan Rice ended up being a pretty big deal at DC. Okay, so we got that. I would explain more, but you know, let's kind of get through them. And I just grabbed these. These were prestige format, GLA Primeval. I grabbed it because it's Abbott and Lanning, the guys that did all the cosmic stuff, and you know, those two were a really good writing team. I think they did Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of the you know, oh, what the heck? I'm going blank. They did the great big huge cosmic crossover, you know, after Geffen did it. Oh, Annihilation, Conquest, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, I got this because, you know, these guys all sort of became big deals, and even the artist ended up becoming something. So I figured I'd give it a shot. This is from 1999. A lot of the stuff seems to be from the late 90s. And like I said, I just got this because it was there. I don't see a name on here that really even impresses me. But GLA Witchblade crossover. So, you know, why not? Again, Azrael, Ash. This is Denny O'Neil, Joe Quesada, Jimmy Palomino coming on. The little crossover that came out, little prestige format. I don't like any of these characters, man. This is one of those things where I'm going to give it a try and try some different stuff. And this whole lot is kind of different stuff. It's from 97, you know. Now, Joe Quesada was on board with Denny O'Neil when they made Azrael. Make sure I'm saying it right. Azrael. And then, you know, Quesada, there's a whole thing with Quesada floating around from DC to Valiant, a little here, a little there. Then he did self-publishing. And then right after that came out, got to be around the time he did the Dark Knights, the Marvel Knights books, the Daredevil with Kevin Smith and all that stuff. Anyway, and then this is like my third or fourth copy of this, Darkseid Galactus The Hunger. So I'm finding this left and right, and I'm bound to have one of them can be a reader copy now. You know, I'll grab that all day long. You know, it's not that great of a story, but it's, you know, it's Galactus versus, you know, Darkseid, you know, by John Byrne in the 90s. Okay. And then I got this just to check it out. Like I said, I took advantage of this. Telos, Maiden Voyage, Mike Wieringo before he passed away. And I don't know what all he did because he is way down here. I don't know if this is collected from the series or if this was a one-shot. Why not, you know. Then I like dodged this for years and stuff. This came out in 92 when Wizard Magazine was really young, and it coincided with Image coming out. And each one of those profiles is, you know, the original Image guys. Each one did a profile of the characters or a character if they had a team book. And I wish I'd gotten this for years, because anybody that watches my channel knows that I'm into the comic book history in the comics and outside of the comics and stuff. And this has like an interview with Stan Lee. This has a pages and pages of a brief kind of Reader's Digest version hitting the main dates and all this stuff of the history of comics. And this is actually like a good beginner's guide for anybody who wants to get into comics. I could talk about that all day long. It ended up being like a nice little surprise, but I'm okay. Let's do the Marvel books. Now we're into the comics, if I'm looking at this right. Okay. Could not believe I finally found these. I've never seen them, and with the way that the logo doesn't look too different from the actual Excalibur books, I maybe just overlooked them. But this is in the 90s when they had the huge crossover event where the Age of Apocalypse came on, where Xavier was killed, and this is what would have happened to the mutants in the Marvel Universe if they weren't killed. And for 4 months they changed all their titles to be in this world of the Age of Apocalypse. Okay. And all the only ones I don't have is Excalibur. And for some reason I thought it was called Caliber X. And plus they're hard to get because they're Warren Ellis, back there in the day and stuff. I got 1 and 2 of this, and like I said, the way the logo doesn't look that different from Excalibur when it has an E. I may have passed them up before. Found this 192 of the Amazing Spider-Man. Anything under 200, I suggest you grab it. 269. The Amazing Spider-Man with Firelord, Tom DeFalco, Ron Friends, Joe Rubenstein. This is when I was in maybe middle school, getting these. Had those before. Grabbed this Inhumans number 5 with Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee. I just like the cover. I've got number 1 and 2. Used to have the first 4, then they just disappeared. This is that Marvel Knights I was telling you about that Joe Quesada ended up doing. Now we're into the DC books. This is from 1989. There's 2 pages that somebody colored in blue, but this is DC Comics Superheroes Good Health Activity Book. I don't know if they gave this out at schools or if you went to a pediatrician or whatever and got this. I mean, it was just thrown in there. This is a little beat up, but I figured why not. It's got some early J.H. Williams art, and I'm pretty sure this is the one. I have 2 of these, but this is the Flash. This is right in the midst of Mark Waid just taking off this book, and it's got some Impulse and Mercury and a timeline of the Flash legacy and pinups and who's who things. This has a bad corner on it. I didn't know it till I got it home, man. But it's Flash number 80 right there where Mark Waid and Michael Ringo were starting to really get noticed on this Flash book. Flash was actually hot there for a while. GLA Secret Files number 3. This is at the tail end of Grant Morrison and right when I think Mark Waid was really grabbing the book or something like that. It's good stuff. Completed. That was a really good time there for those Grant Morrison Justice Leagues. I think are outstanding. Got this purely for the cover. I think I have up until this. This came out around 1997. But Silver Banshee did not pop up that often. I had all of her appearances and stuff and always kind of dug her, So here she is, Peter David getting a hold of her, messing with Supergirl. So, cool cover. I was like, why not? Really good use of black and whites. Legionnaires number 1. Still in the bag. I'm not going to end with a trading card in it, big deal, But, I'm a Legion fan, and I think, oh my gosh, who was it? CJ? CJ's starting to get into the Legion, and I end up he asked me a question about the Legion. Should he check this out? Should he check that out? And me being me ended up writing him this great big huge confusing thing about the Legion history, because after 0 Hour it's just really hard to follow, and what they did, the reboots, the 0 Hour, the clones, this, that, recovering from the 5-year, I'm not going to get into it now, but yeah, this was one of the they had Legion of I don't know, I'm not going to get into it. I could tell you about this series, but let's move on. Found this, Why the Last Man, number 40. I always grab Why the Last Man when I can find it. Of course, this is the series where there was a virus or something, and anybody with the Y chromosome was killed, Got this. I saw this whole series for like $4 a piece of them. Didn't want to do it. I'm really getting into Dan Barrington's artwork and anything that he's into. This is called Giant Killer. No idea what this is. I think this came out at the turn of the century there, but this is book 1, 99. Came out in 99. Probably the summer of 99. So now I can check it out, see if it's worth getting, but I probably will, but who could pass that up? Millennium Edition, All-Star Western, Jonah Hex. I'm just really glad to get that. And the Super Team Family. Oh, this was so cool to find number 4. Yes, it's beat up. I didn't pay too much at all for it. It's got Solomon Grundy on the cover. Horrible art, so I don't know. I can't wait to get in there and see what that's about, So, wow, And then I always grab one of these, All-Star Comics, Paul Levitz, Joe Staton. This is number 59, and some statue man has got Power Girl when she was you know, this is one of her first few appearances after her first appearance in this series. So Earth 2 Justice Society came out. Alright guys, that's the Marvel DC movies, DVDs, and yeah, little one-shots and trades and stuff. So I'm going to stop it here and do a part 2 of the indie stuff I got. Alright, I don't want to make, you know, a whole bunch of videos. Okay, cool, thanks. I don't want to make a great big huge long video. I think I'm going to go to sleep tonight. Alright, bye.